But welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to what I believe is our 10th episode. So we bring to you Raw and Smackdown review and like our future potential events.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my boy Ryan. What's going on, Ryan?
What is up?
Sit back, relax, and ladies and gents, let's enjoy the show. So let's get right into Raw.
Hell yeah,
Right.
bro.
Sami Zayn opens up with a promo, talks about being in the triple threat, and basically is being my bad. What I believe is he's going like why would I put my championship up in triple threat? Personal issue with Chad Gable kind of brings that up. Brings up the German suplex in Canada and has an ass kicking coming his way. Brings up Bronson Reed where it's really not that personal, but he only really cares about the Intercontinental Championship. So it was more or less, like I said, like I think like last episode, it's more of a just like, it's more between Sammy and Chad, but Bronson's kind of just third wheel in this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, so Sammy mentioned it in this promo. He said like my beef with Chad is personal. My beef with Bronson is professional. Because Bronson only wants the IC title, and Gable wants the IC title, and he wants to wreck Sami Zayn because he suplexed him out of his wife's arms.
Right. But he was kind of talking about how it's a fight between the mind, body, and the soul. The mind is Chad Gable. The body is Bronson Reed. Like that's the physical thing.
Damn, there's a lot of body right there.
The soul of this entire match. The soul of the entire match is Sami Zayn, and that's how basically he predicted he was going to win at King and Queen of the Ring, and which he did. He said that he's poured his heart, soul, and passion into winning this championship, and then Gable's music hits. Comes out with the Alpha Academy. The Alpha Academy looks lost because Gable's being a dick. He goes, I'm manipulative. I coached you selfishly, like right to Sammy. He goes, I'm too damn nice. Like I've been too nice to you and these clowns talking about the Alpha Academy. He shits on Maxine again about the Queen of the Ring finals. He basically said Tozawa did nothing against Bronson Reed. He's just a little bitch. He calls Otis the biggest disappointment on the planet, and I was like, no. There's a bunch of Otis chants, and my favorite thing about this entire thing for Otis, there was a free Otis sign in the crowd.
Hashtag we want Otis.
Hashtag we want Otis.
We want Otis. We want Otis.
But Sami Zayn had a question for the Alpha Academy. He goes, how much longer are y'all gonna deal with this guy's crap? Like he's like, dude, you guys see this? Why don't you do something about it? Which you and I have talked. Maybe they're scared to do something about it. Like we talked about like that. But
what I think could be, you just said that, and that kind of popped an idea into my head. What if they do an angle where Tozawa gets fucking wrecked by Gable? Where like you just said, like they're kind of scared of Gable. So like, what if they like Tozawa or like someone like fails like Gable, like Tozawa just fucks up, like he starts being too goofy or something. And Gable is like, I need to teach this fool a lesson, and he like I don't know suplexes him like 10 times, keeps him locked in a grapevine like ankle lock, and like won't let go of it, and that's when Otis eventually like pulls Gable off and is like, what the fuck? And that's where we get like kind of the turn.
Okay. I like that. But actually I really like that because that would set up so much. But Gable basically called Sammy pathetic. He goes, I don't have to pin you, but I'm going to pin you. Like straight up. I'm going to. Without question. And then we got the you suck like chants from like the Kurt Angle days. We got those.
I thought those were pretty cool. Awesome. To have that on with Gable now, because like that's not forced upon. Like WWE didn't try to make that happen with Gable. The fans started doing that on their own. Like, so I think something organic like that, like that's pretty freaking cool that they're starting to put that on the Gable.
But You know how Sammy's been talking about like he's the soul of the match? Well, Gable goes, I'm gonna take your soul.
Ooh.
I was like, ooh, okay,
Ooh,
okay,
it was
man.
cold.
That's right. But this is where we're seeing a match between these two happen. And I think I had a prediction in this that I said Chad Gable would win at King and Queen of the Ring and Otis would turn on him on the Monday Night Raw after. Obviously, now I'm wrong. But he kind of pushed the Alpha Academy around and then like away after they tried helping him like win the match, like he's been asking them to do.
Yeah, right.
But go, he basically Otis looked like he was gonna hit Sammy, but he didn't. But then Otis got slapped by Gable, and dude straight up got up on the apron and clotheslined the shit out of Sammy. And Gable was kind of smiling at that, and Otis did not look happy at all. Otis did not look happy. I felt bad for Otis and what he had did because he felt he's just like this lovable like teddy bear. How are you gonna piss him off and make him do this?
Yeah, right.
Like I
What the
said,
fuck, bro? Free Otis.
right. Like I said earlier, there's a "you suck" chance that was similar to Kurt Angle. But with this match, it was kind of like like Gable was really trying to get the Alpha Academy to try to basically do his like dirty work for him, and they would just wouldn't. So he would send Maxine and Tozawa also to the back, which kind of also pissed off Otis even a little bit more. But match started, getting 10 feet outside near the oh my god, what the hell's the AA, Ryan? Why'd you write AA? Just basically sent outside where he shrugs him off, saying he like doesn't need any help. Gable would obviously miss with a top rope diving headbutt to Sammy, who would fire her back with an attempted blue thunder bomb that Gable would counter with a suplex. Oh, the Alpha Academy. Okay. But Maxine, like I said, Maxine would like refuse to do the dirty work, so she refused to slap Sammy after he's hanging like dangling on the ropes, like he's just in the middle of the ropes. Gable would use Maxine as a human shield and like distract Sammy. Would like they would do like this thing where they slide in the ring, but Gable would get in there right before him and attack him. But they would trade German suplexes until Sammy would hit a Michinoku driver, which would set up the haluva kick that Chad Gable would actually end up rolling into an ankle lock.
Clean.
Right. That was, man. But Gable would throw Sammy to the outside, and Otis would do nothing until Gable would grab that title after trying to hit Sammy with it and just absolutely eating an exploder suplex. He distracted the ref. Like I said, long enough for Otis to sadly clothesline Sammy. Gable would hit the Chaos Theory and pin Sammy for the win. But the QR code would be announced again by the announce team. This is when it happened. And Michael Cole would bring up the therapy session from the Twitch stream last Thursday. But it was pretty interesting that they announced that, or they brought that up again, because now we're getting, I feel like we're getting near the end of this whole thing, but I don't know yet. Like I said last episode, I think we're gonna predict June 17th once we get there. Hopefully something happens. We'll see. But in the crowd, there was a Perk Gable sign, which I think
That made me laugh.
last week
That
we
made
saw.
me. I love that.
Kind of like the Perk Academy look, essentially. Then after the match, we got an Io Sky promo. I didn't understand any of it, to be honest. But I can remember they'll be like interviewing the Alpha Academy, but as soon as like it started, like stuff were going on in the back, and Cruz del Toro would actually be injured, like with Adam Pearce and the LWO nearby. But one thing that Jackie made it clear, she said it's chaos back here, just straight chaos. There's nothing like.
Oh, yeah.
I think this whole thing with Carlito and the LWO and Dominic is gonna go somewhere extreme.
Oh, I love to see something big happen like that. Something blow off like a. I want to see like. I'm tired of just this tag feud between the LWO, Carlito, and like Legado del Fantasma, and I hope it doesn't turn into the Judgment Day versus LWO. We're just plodding around for 6 months until we can eventually just slowly move on from the program. Like I want to see this like feud actually like get cooking and get rolling. Like instead of just having a little backstage segment like this or a little something here and there every week.
I think this is more to focus on Carlito, joining the Judgment Day because he needs somewhere to go. Because he knows like Ray is going to be hunting for him, and same with Joaquin Wilde and Zelina. Excuse me, Zelina. So I think he's trying to use the Judgment Day as like a new home until he can get back on his own feet in the company because he was laying around with some bums, and now he's going to be laying around with people who basically run Monday Night Raw.
The Judgment Day.
Then we move into what is an absolute murder fest. Braun Breaker versus Kale Dixon.
This poor guy.
Kale like died. That motherfucker dead.
And Braun, like, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe
like you wrote the notes. Yeah, so yeah, like Braun killed the guy. Yeah.
Straight up. Like 3 moves and it was done. It was spear, and it was done.
Braun was sitting in the corner. He was getting pissed off. He's like, "What the fuck? I'm not in the tournament." And basically, Braun just went in and hit the fastest spear of my life. And like match got called off immediately because Dixon couldn't continue. So the ref and Dixon are in the middle of the ring, and Breaker would run the ropes again and would spear Dixon fast as fuck. The ring again did move. I noticed that. I don't know if you're gonna get this term, but Braun Breaker basically just Von Wagner the fuck out of Kale Dixon. Basically, what that means is Von Wagner was in a similar angle like that where he got his head just absolutely fucking murdered, and he had like tape around his head and shit for a while. And Dixon had would have his head in between the steps, like in the triangle of the steps, and Braun would just absolutely just hit him with a steel chair on the back of the head, just fucking boom, knocked. And we'd see a stretch be brought out. I don't know if you were right with this, but we do believe we called that match a murder. That was a murder.
I do believe we call that a murder. So I think this is gonna set up Gunther. This is not Gunther. Sorry, this is Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker's first big feud because I think he shared a look with Adam Pearce. Him and Pearce were like staring each other down right before Braun went to the back and stopped killing this man.
Oh yeah, Pearce is pissed.
So I think Pearce is gonna send another big hard hitting dude after Braun to be like, hey, or most importantly, a veteran to go sort out Braun Breaker. And I think Adam Pearce is gonna go send Sheamus after Breaker to sort him out. And we're gonna get Sheamus versus Braun Breaker for a little bit.
We did see them backstage a few weeks ago.
That's the only thing that I'm basing this off of is that backstage segment a couple weeks ago.
Right. I was thinking of Braun Strowman before you even said Sheamus. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Ooh, I would do Braun Strowman, but I don't know. I feel like Sheamus can take a loss to Braun Breaker a lot better than Braun Strowman can. Because like Sheamus is a legend at this point. Like he's established like that. So if he loses and puts over somebody big like Braun Breaker, I think it won't do as much damage to Sheamus, and it'll do maybe more for Braun Breaker. I think they should definitely do Braun Strowman versus Braun Breaker at some point, though. That would be bomb.
Agreed.
Fucking awesome.
But then we go to commercial, and then we go right back to Adam Pearce's with Kel Dixon. Keanu James would actually catch up. Pearce is visibly and verbally pissed at Braun Breaker, and Breaker would actually walk up to him, and he goes, "You can't control me." And he would say right after, "You didn't put me in the King of the Ring tournament. That is on you." So basically, Breaker's anger is all from Pierce, and I think we're gonna see him go on a Goldberg-esque type run.
Oh, 100%. I'd love to see something like that.
I mean, them Steiner jeans, my boy.
Them Steiner jeans are doing work right now.
Uh-huh.
He's awesome. I'm so excited to see Braun Breaker eventually become world champion because at this point we all know it's going to happen at some point.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just a matter of when, not if, for Braun Breaker.
Mm-hmm. And I think with that, we'll see something like maybe Sheamus actually will get a win or two over Braun Breaker and kind of like knock him down to size.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're really going to do that, I would definitely make Braun Breaker come out like on top of this at all. Because, like you said, it's not going to hurt Sheamus to take a loss to him. It's actually going to help Braun Breaker even more.
Right, that's exactly what I think it'll do for Braun.
Mm-hmm. Don't have much else for that. But we got to Lyra Valkyria. And we see her backstage, and Becky would actually walk up to her, giving her props to like what she did. And she was basically giving her kind of some advice for her match against Io Sky. And she goes, "Go show them why this is worth it." Just straight up, like you're her. Show them why. And we get into the Queen of the Ring semifinals match, Lyra Valkyria versus Io Sky, and the match will actually begin with Lyra attempting 3 pinfalls on Io and catching Io straight up off guard. Io would start gaining momentum after they're driving her knees like into Lyra in the corner, like when she's laying down there. And Io would just hit the nasty ass backbreaker on her and attempt to some pinfalls, but Lyra would escape from them, and Io would hit her with a German suplex. Lyra would actually start fighting back with a crossbody from the top and would hit a fisherman's buster and set up the Nightwing before Io would slip out and hit a Meteora, which is actually pretty cool. But there was a like part of the match, Lyra would actually have an insane submission where she like get it like put it on Io. I think which is what the Meteora that is.
Yeah,
because our notes are two different. Yeah, our notes are two different things. I'm looking at your notes compared to my notes.
yeah.
But she would actually get a nasty little pin as well. But towards the end of the match, after Lyra would be hit with a top rope powerbomb, Io would try to hit the over the moonsault for a collective third time throughout the match. But Lyra was able to counter by rolling away, and she'd pick up Io, hit the Nightwing, and basically just hit her with this like nasty pin for the win. It was great. It was crazy. This match for me, it really helped both superstars. Like it would just show that like their mat and ring work, their ability to fucking just straight up put on a show. Like I said, this women's division has gone so far from where it was originally when it first started, dude. This is fucking awesome.
This match was definitely phenomenal. It's I'm really happy to see Lyra be getting the showcase that she's getting. Like she's gotten a win now over Io was just women's champion at WrestleMania. Like and Lyra beat her, and before then, who did she beat? She beat Zoe Stark and who did she beat before Io? It was another big name. Hold on, I'll try to find it. I gotta find it real quick. I completely forgot. But yeah, she's getting these huge wins over people and with big names, and I think it's just like you said, like this was a great showcase for both women. Io looked great in this. Lyra looked great in this, and I think this is just gonna set up.
Lyra beat Dakota Kai.
Yeah, there you go. Then you can even do like maybe a damage control feud with her in the future.
Yeah.
But this was a Great match, and I liked it a whole lot. Set up a
Do we
whole lot
see
for Lyra.
like you saying that whole thing with damage control? Do we see Becky kind of get by Lyra's side if that happens instead of Becky going on a hiatus? She kind of gets by Lyra's side, helping her out.
I would hope so because I never want to see Becky Lynch leave my screen because I always like seeing Becky Lynch wrestle.
She's
But
very good at what she does.
if she does go and take a hiatus, I could get behind Lyra going on a singles. Maybe. Well, we're recording this after King and Queen of the Ring, and all that's already happened. So maybe when Becky Lynch has her rematch with Liv Morgan on the next episode of Raw for the women's title, Liv Morgan writes Becky Lynch off of TV, and that's how it writes her out. And then we get the Damage Control now start targeting Lyra because they realize that she doesn't have the backup of Becky Lynch. And then you can pair Lyra with I don't know, literally like anyone else that you want to hype up on the women's division right now.
Tiffy time? No, I'm kidding.
It's Tiffy time.
It's Tiffy time.
I wish. I wish.
I don't really have much else for this match, to be honest.
Mm-mm.
I think the next segment, we cannot let this man die. He needs to stay immortal. R-Truth would actually talk to New Catch Republic, or who we like to call British Strong Style, and talks about the hokey pokey. That was weird. But they kind of hinted at a future match, saying hopefully we'll see y'all for the titles. And I think that the Truth and Miz had a match that night. Yep, they did. Yeah, I forgot. But Miz would walk up to R-Truth, and Truth would go, "I talked to Andre the Giant," and that Monday was actually that Sunday before Monday Night Raw was Andre the Giant's birthday. So that's probably a kind of like a nod to him, since he was one of the greats to ever do it.
Right.
A lot of people are in it because of Andre. Like all the big men it's because of Andre. But again, I don't really have much for Awesome Truth for that. I think like I said, my Gunther, Ilya was seen backstage with Kayla, and he was like, "Who does he think he is winning King of the Ring?" Like himself, and then he would actually end up giving props to main event Jey Uso. Like he would like kind of emphasize the main event. Like Jey Uso earned his main event status in their match that they had the week prior. And he would say he's talking about the man that broke him several times, and he goes, "Gunther." And
Gunther.
like he'd be cut off. Like Ricochet would walk in, and he'd be like, he told Ilya, he was "Dude, I think we set the bar high in our match for King of the Ring, but this isn't over." And like right after he said that, Braun Breaker comes out of fucking nowhere, dude. Fucking smokes Ricochet into some equipment, and Ricochet if I looked in the slow-mo, Ricochet pushed Ilya out of the way. So I think that's kind of like, Ricochet's still kind of, like he's cool with Ilya, but he wants a rematch. And we would actually see Braun Breaker over him standing tall. Just straight up. He just absolutely just murdered him straight up.
Maybe that's Braun's first feud. Is Ricochet.
That would be interesting.
Braun would absolutely wreck that fool with a midair spear.
Bro, it was like a Lawrence Taylor style of tackle in the equipment. Dude was smoked. Then I think we went to commercial, and we cut to a Gunther promo in the empty arena, and even Gunther was like, "Yeah, I was wrong about Jey Uso. He is main event Jey Uso, but he's in the business of always taking the hope away because this is a business that he loves, and he wants to strive for the real reason of what it is for. But it's not." He basically was like I said, he kind of is. What he hinted at that was like, he goes, "It's not who's more exciting." The more exciting act going to the ring, it's about who's the better professional wrestler. And he would actually predict his match that he won that night, which we do know now that he did win. But it was kind of like they both gave a nod to Jey Uso, so we could. I mean, I'm thinking we see something with Ilya, Gunther, and Jay in the future, where they're all in a feud together. Where it's like a triple threat for a PLD or two, and it's for like, say Gunther has a world title at this time, and we go with there, and then Gunther just stands tall over him twice, basically, like, so they can't do it best 2 out of 3.
Mm-hmm.
For that. But I think my favorite part of segments for that part of the night was Damien actually walking into the locker room, like the Judgment Day locker room, of course. And he's basically giving a bunch of props to everyone. And Damien kind of gave props about Carlito with Cruz, about what he did to Cruz. He goes, I heard what you did to Cruz. And Carlito was like, I'm gonna lay low with y'all, but Damien's like, this is not how this works. You gotta keep earning your keep. And we would see, I think, JD and Dom walk away, and we kind of like we like you and I have been talking, like we've seen a like a little hint of Finn versus Damien. He goes, "You're the champion, no?" Kind of thing. Like he's the leader of the Judgment Day since Rhea's not there.
Yeah,
she's out with injury. But Carlito would kind of like try to break the ice of how awkward it was. He goes, "You hear about the Knicks game?" I think talking, which I think was the Pacers Knicks game. I could be wrong. Yeah, it was the Pacers Knicks game where the Pacers absolutely smoked them 130 to 109. Go Pacers!
Go Pacers!
Actually, I lied. I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan.
I don't watch sports ball.
I don't watch sports ball either, but I'm still a fan of whatever it is, just cause. Fucking tired, man. So we've actually moved next into the World Tag Team Championship match, the Awesome Truth versus the Judgment Day with Dirty Dominic Mysterio, and the women's wrestling would obviously be JD and Finn. And where are we at? The Awesome Truth would really kind of maintain a steady control until Dirty Sanchez would decide to distract the referee. Truth would get a hot tag and try to go for the 5-knuckle shuffle, but Balor would counter, and Truth locks in the STF. Sadly broken up by JD, giving nod to his childhood hero, John Cena, which was amazing. Which I'm not understanding this, but I'm loving it.
He's older than John Cena, you know that, right?
Yes, he's like 8 years older than John Cena. Which makes zero sense.
I love it so much.
The Awesome Truth would again, like they did like a week or two ago, they would hit a 5-knuckle shuffle. Truth would hit a face buster on JD before Carlito would actually intervene and put JD's foot on the ropes. And then all we hear is Braun! And Braun Strowman flies down the ramp, chases JD around the ring like a little child. And he would fly back into the ring, and Archer would hit an AA for the win. Again, giving nod to his childhood hero, John Cena. But was Braun Strowman the Andre the Giant reference in this entire thing?
Oh, 1,000%.
I think it was, because he's been mixing up superstars here lately. DIY is now DX, and DX is now DIY.
That's hilarious. We love Archer, man. He's the best fucking comedy actor on the roster right now. He's so funny.
And we find a series of backstage segments between Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark first, who would actually we'd see a surprise return in Sonya Deville.
I was not expecting that.
And Sonya kind of was like, "Hey, I'll give you all some help tonight in your match." And Shayna was like, "Nah, we don't want your help. We know you. We know who you are." And Sonya would kind of give her just like this like dirty look or like whatever. It's like, oh, she's like, okay, you want to play that game? Do your thing, whatever. Just no.
Mm-hmm.
Then we move into a Becky congratulating Lyra, and Liv would actually be seen down the hallway congratulating Lyra too. She would actually diss the fuck out of Becky. I forgot what she said, but like how Becky punched Liv would punch Lyra right in the mouth.
Run them off.
Right in the mouth.
Run them off. Which I saw this and it kind of made me think like, does that mean Lyra might be winning and we could be setting up Liv versus Lyra now?
I didn't even think about that.
Which like she didn't win her Queen of the Ring match, but now we even still can build to a Lyra versus Liv Morgan match potentially.
Right.
Something
Yeah.
that I would like to see at least personally.
Do we see Lyra versus Liv at Clash at the Castle?
Potentially, you potentially see it at SummerSlam.
Oh, I like that. I do like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But then we'd see Bronson Reed walk up to Sami Zayn, and Bronson would say to Sami, "Violence is how I make my money." And then Bronson would leave. Otis would walk in, and Sami was like, "Did I expect it better of you?" And Otis, would actually tell Sami like, "I'm sorry, I really am. Like, I'm really sorry, dude. I don't think you understand." And Sami like, he goes, "Dude, don't sweat it. Like, I know you're sorry, but you need to stop listening to Gable and start listening to them." And he'd point out to like the camera, and he'd be talking like about the fans. Because we want Otis to beat the shit out of Chad Gable.
Get him, Otis.
Free Otis.
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 Free
Otis. So Becky would talk, Queen of the Ring, and kind of subliminally like bring up Liv Morgan's revenge tour, and then like right after that, Liv would come out, and she'd be like, "Becky, you're gaslighting the entire WWE universe." And Becky's like, "Look how it's fight," and she's calling Liv a chicken, which I thought was funny. She was doing like the chicken dance. And she did it a few times throughout the promo, but Liv was like, she doesn't care about the women's locker room. Becky doesn't care. Her purpose is but Liv's purpose is to finish the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. And Becky was like, it's funny. It actually took you 10 years to find your purpose. And Liv was basically talking to Becky, saying that she's delusional and that all she cared about is herself. And Liv was like, after I beat you at King and Queen of the Ring, I will sit where I belong on top of the women's division. And Liv would be like, "Oh yeah, let's go fight. And then Becky would be like, "All right, let's go." So Becky would throw everything down, and Liv would get up to the ropes, and she goes, "No." And that she's basically was like, "I'm gonna wait for King and Queen of the Ring. Thinking I'm gonna waste my energy on you now? What are you thinking?"
Right, straight up.
Which made me think that Becky was actually gonna win it, because it's like a good guy thing, really. And the good guy needed to win it.
Yeah.
But understandably, this is Liv Morgan's revenge tour.
Oh yeah, it is kicked off
had to
now.
win it, and she did win it. I think she kicked it off. But I think we'll see Liv and Rhea very soon. Rhea's going to return at some point. I think she said like 3 months, which is I think is like the end of July, early August.
Yeah,
SummerSlam type shit. But speaking of Rhea, we moved into the Judgment Day locker room where Damian Priest is standing there, and we find out JD is going to fight Strowman on Monday, tomorrow.
Yeah, Strowman's finally back in the ring.
And Damian was like, "Dude, we've been losing. I don't even recognize us anymore. Like, what's going on? I'm the only one winning."
Straight up. This leans more into the idea of Damian eventually maybe the Judgment Day kicks him out of Judgment Day now because he's constantly berating them and tearing them down. So maybe we see them potentially kick him out, I think.
I think part of this is because Dominic is injured. I mean,
yeah. What part of?
He hasn't really done much since he's been injured, so I think it's part of the reason. Same thing with Rhea. Rhea's been gone. I mean, she can't do much, but I think part of that is also because now Dominic is lost without. He's basically a lost puppy now,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's why we've been seeing him with Liv Morgan. To be honest, um, so we might see something there between those two. And like we said last episode, the custody of Dominic match needs to happen again. So we would move in now to the Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag Team Championship, like number one contender for. I don't even know because it was weird because the number one contender was supposed to be. I would have assumed the next PLE, but we saw Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell instead.
Mm-hmm.
But we'd see Damage Control, Kyrie Sane and Dakota Kai versus Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, the Party of the Summer, versus Ivan Nile, Maxine Dupree, versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Before the match even really started, the lights went dark. Do we see this as an Uncle Howdy reference, or do you think it was just a production mistake?
I have no idea.
I mean,
I think that's the cool part about this whole Uncle Howdy. The idea of them doing this whole Uncle Howdy thing is that when little things like that do happen, it makes you think like, oh, was that an Uncle Howdy thing or was that like a normal thing that happened? You know.
right. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's no matter what it ended up being, I think it ended up helping the uncle. The idea of like an Uncle Howdy thing getting pushed.
Mm-hmm. But we'd see all four teams like immediately just start fighting. But Maxine would get tagged in and runs just crazy on Kyrie until the Damage Control basically start taking over, and Chance and Carter would also work together to get Zoe with a hot start with the top rope Hurricane Rana, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't seen one of those in a while. No, I'm just playing. Maxine would actually end up driving Kaden Carter into the barricade and would actually hit her signature worm and an ankle lock on Dakota Kai. But Kyrie would hit an insane elbow to actually break it up. So we would honestly, I thought part of this, I thought we were probably going to see Damage Control win it here. But Shannon would actually put Kyrie in a Karakuda clutch, choking her out, and then letting Zoe basically get tagged in, and they hit a double team on Maxine for the win. Which I think, if I remember right, no, I don't remember what match that was. There was a move that was just absolutely crazy. I forgot what it was, but
Theirs
I
was
think that
like
was that.
Zoe picked her up into like a power bomb basically, but instead of power bombing her, she like let her fall backwards because like Shayna was standing behind Zoe, so she let Kyrie's momentum keep going, and then Shayna caught her with a knee as she went down, and that was the double team move that they did.
That's what, yeah, I forgot.
It was
Yes,
savage. It was straight up savage.
But then, I mean, I'm actually excited for Shannon and Zoe to see where this goes. Where is this happening? Where
I have
would
no
this match
idea.
be happening?
This is like WWE's very much treating the women's tag team titles like an afterthought, and it shows with like how
Yeah,
this is happening. It's like this doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but when it eventually does happen, I think it'll be a really great match because Zoe and Shayna, I think, are both really good workers, even though sometimes their MMA style doesn't always mesh that well
yeah,
with WWE style. But I think that they could still put on a really great performance with Jada and Bianca.
I agree. Fuck, brain fart, my bad. We'd actually now move in to where we'd see WWE doctors clear Xavier Woods. And Kofi would be there with him, but Kofi would leave, and we'd see Karrion Kross and Scarlett enter the room, and Karrion would also talk to Xavier. He's like, just want to remind you, there's still more time to, kind of turn things around. You don't have to be with this man anymore. Basically, kind of drag one or the other to his side. But then, yeah, like I said, we got a series of promos and backstage and everything.
Got a couple of
Just absolutely where to go? Then so we move into Caleb Braxton with Ludwig Kaiser. And Caleb asked Ludwig like, "Hey, is Gunther overlooking Jay?" And Ludwig's like, "No, what are you talking about?" And he would actually shit on Sheamus, which I'm still trying to understand this whole Sheamus thing with him, to be honest. He'd basically say the legendary Celtic Warrior is now, but Drew McIntyre is a keyboard warrior. He's all over Twitter now. He doesn't do much. He just sits there, plays on his phone, and like I said, I don't know how I really see this whole thing with Sheamus and Kaiser. I think Kaiser's just trying to start some shit until Sheamus steps in. But like, I would rather prefer your idea of Braun Breaker versus Sheamus. That would be something like to help. I think that'd be something that would have a better storyline than Ludwig and Sheamus, to be honest.
I think so too. I'm not totally invested or really know what's going on with this whole Kaiser calling out Sheamus constantly thing.
I don't
But
either.
it's like, what the fuck? It's like, I get it. You
this
like
is just
screwed
kinda
him
out of
over because
nowhere.
it's been like 3 weeks now, 2 or 3 weeks. Sorry, that's been going on now, and like,
Yeah, it was
what the
like the
fuck's
first
gonna
round of
happen with it?
King of the Ring tournament or something like that.
Yeah. So like, what the fuck's gonna happen now? Something's gotta
Yeah,
happen.
we would see Ludwig leave. Drew McIntyre would walk in, and he would call Damian a paper champion again. And one thing he did say that kind of stood out to me was, "I'm playing chess. He's playing with his eyeliner," which I think was a kind of a funny ass nod to the fact of that we all know that they wear eyeliner in Judgment Day for certain people, and it's part of like their gimmick and everything. But I mean, again, Drew McIntyre is still kind of who the fuck is he going after? Is he going after Damian now, or is he going after Punk? What the fuck's going on?
Well, he
Are we just gonna
officially
wait
has
and
his
see?
title match for Glasgow, Scotland now against
Right.
Damien.
Damian was willing to
So
put that up against him.
yeah, I think we're gonna
I
see
do think this
something
is where we
like
see McIntyre win, like I said.
Drew, I'm sorry, keeps saying that Damien is not keeping his eye on the ball and not focusing on keeping the world title around his waist. I think we're gonna see Drew McIntyre's been having like his hypocrite character basically. I think the same thing
Mm-hmm.
is gonna happen to him where he's not, or maybe the inverse is happening to him to where maybe Drew is maybe too focused on the world title that he forgets about CM Punk a little bit when he
Yeah.
goes to Glasgow against Damien. And then he ends up taking his eye off of that ball, and then CM Punk ends up screwing him out of the world title in Glasgow. And then that's how we get Punk and Drew. I don't know, that's a little bit more messy, but I like the idea
I
of
like
something like
that.
that.
I do like that.
I definitely want to see. I've been really high on the idea of Drew winning the title in Glasgow, but more
Yeah,
so
so
over the
I've been
past few
too.
weeks, I've been starting to lean more so towards Punk screwing him over in Glasgow.
Right. Okay.
Because then that
I
can
do.
set up a
That would
SummerSlam
be cool.
match between them, and then that keeps the title around Damien for his match with Gunther and at SummerSlam
SummerSlam.
because that's where it's happening.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. I do like that. Um, I think then, like you said, we'll see a similar like Summer of Punk. Will it be more like a Summer of McIntyre?
Right.
And we'll see something like where he goes and just keeps going on a tear, and he keeps like being this hypocrite, and then he finally wins the big one. Um, like not Survivor. I would not say Survivor Series or anything like that. Like maybe like at WrestleMania where Gunther doesn't hold the world title as long as he held the Intercontinental, but he still held the world title for a significant amount of time.
I would still say
Or
Gunther. If Gunther's gonna win that world title, I would have Gunther hold it for like maybe a year. Like I know Seth Rollins just held that same title for 316 days or something similar to that. But yeah, I'd have Gunther go on another like year plus title reign.
I
This
got
time with
you.
the world title though.
Yeah, I got you.
Just because that is Gunther. That is him. He is the
Gunther.
unstoppable final. He's now the guy who I would start building as the unstoppable final boss of the roster. Or like when you
Right.
know that you have a match coming up with Gunther, you know that you're not the favorite no matter what.
Yeah, you are just gonna. It's basically
You in for a
similar to what he
bad
did with the
night.
Intercontinental title. Yeah,
For
getting fucking slapped
a
and
lot of
shit.
lot of this sound.
Yeah. But after that, we would move into Gable. Like we've been talking about the Perk Academy, he would be talking to the Creed brothers, and Otis would walk in, and Chad Gable would be like, "Hey, think about what I said to the Creed brothers." Like he's talking, probably like getting like a group or something with them or whatever. So do we see Perk Academy?
Yes. I think this is the
That's what
seeds
I'm
being
saying.
planted for it. I think this is the first because we're not seeing the creeds get presented with Ivy Nile anymore, weirdly enough. So I think this is
Yeah.
going to be how they're going to transition into being with Kurt Angle and Otis or not Kurt Angle, sorry, Chad Gable. Fuck.
Right.
And then we'll eventually see Otis turn on Chad, and then Chad team up with the Creed brothers, and then those three are gonna go wild.
Agreed. Then I think do we see the Otis? So I mean, fucking A, dude. I'm tired. All right. Otis would actually walk in, and he would tell Gable that he apologized to Sammy, and Gable thinks that he's trying to play with Sammy's emotions, and he would make Otis say, again, no matter what, like um he'd make Otis make sure like he wins at uh King of the Ring, and I think that was kind of like the hint that we could have saw that Otis was actually gonna fuck up again and cost Gable the match, and which we'll probably see tomorrow. Um, the Creed brothers come in and absolutely just fuck up the Alpha Academy or something, and then we'll see them get like kind of thrown off, and then we'll see Otis kind of attack Gable at some point and just go on this absolute tear against Gable, and they would go in um like a fuck. Hold on, let me think. My brain's not braining. Um, kind of like a back and forth fight or something up until like a significant time. Like make Otis kind of like he's a seem like he's a legitimate player now almost.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh yeah, bro! I would love to see something
yeah.
like that for Otis. We love Otis.
Otis, free Otis.
Free Otis.
Um, then we'd see Jay Uso cutting a promo about the King of the Ring and everything, and he would smack the garage door into his entrance. We'd see that camera just kind of follow him through the back, and Jay Uso come to the ring. We'd see I actually seen a welcome to Yeatsboro sign when it's in Greensboro, which I thought was actually pretty funny. Um, kind of like a nod to the to hometown, whatever, give him to it.
Mm-hmm.
But throughout the match, kind of Gunther would kind of like target Jey Uso's arm and just kind of lead, maintain a steady lead against him and keeping him down. And Jay would actually start fighting back with the only arm that he has, and that would knock Gunther off of his feet. Uso would hit Gunther with another super kick, stomp him in the corner. When Gunther would actually get up, drop Uso, or drop kick Uso before hitting a power bomb and targeting the arm and another submission. And it's still kind of fucking up his arm. Uso would actually roll out, get caught in a sleeper hold, which he would also escape before just absolutely eating a German suplex and a splash from Gunther. And then Uso would be able to get up and nail Gunther with a spear after kicking out, but he would accidentally hit the ref as he goes down. Uso hits the Uso splash, but the ref wouldn't see it because he was down. And the count started late. Gunther would kick out and lock Jay in him like a nasty sleeper hold, and with his bad arm, and Jay just absolutely passed out. It was done for Jay. Um, and it was honestly, it was absolutely insane. Gunther would smack the shit out of Jey Uso multiple
Mm-hmm.
times.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it was a good Gunther match. I fucking love it.
he'd actually hit a Uso from the top rope too on Gunther, which I thought was fucking dope. But I mean, I was kind of interested to see what they could have done even with Jey Uso versus Randy Orton or Jey Uso versus Tama Tonga, but we chose the Gunther and Randy Orton route. But I did hear for this Jey Uso and Gunther match, it was kind of there were some bad reviews. People were kind of upset that they basically he sleepered Jey Uso. He was like people were pissed about it, and because they wanted like like a pin finish, make it seem like make
There's
Musa
nothing wrong
make
with
Jey Uso seem
that.
not like a bitch. That's
He
what I'm
didn't seem
saying.
like
Like
a
I kind of
bitch. What
enjoyed
would have
that.
made it seem like a bitch was him actually tapping out. Jay had his arm targeted the entirety of that match, and
Right.
Gunther basically put him into a sleeper hold that doubled as an arm bar. So it was a double submission that knocked. So Jey Uso knocked out from the sleeper and the pain. So
Yeah.
I disagree with people who have a take like that because it's just objectively wrong.
Yeah.
It's complete. It's not a. Obviously, you can't compare Austin passing out in the sharpshooter to Bret Hart at WrestleMania to Uso passing out to Gunther sleeper on Raw, but same kind of idea. Like you're more of a badass if you just pass out from the pain than if you just tap and give up.
Yeah. And that's all I have for Raw, but let's move into SmackDown. But before you start with SmackDown, I seen something from Sportsgate about Cody Rhodes, and I'm kind of interested to see what your thoughts are. He wants Drew McIntyre as a feud to help him kind of solidify himself as a solid and good champion, because he doesn't want to keep going against people or like older vets or like people who don't really have much experience in the world title scene on the main roster. He wants someone that's like a grizzled vet that'll actually, rough him up a little bit more and make him a better champion himself. I mean, what do you think about that?
Him versus Drew McIntyre would be freaking awesome. They've done it before in the indies scene. I never got to watch it. Obviously, I didn't watch. I don't keep up with every single wrestling thing in the world, but
Yeah,
I would absolutely love to see those two go one on one in WWE for the
they
WWE
both.
Championship.
Oh yeah, they both did hold the tag team titles together at one point.
Heck yeah, dude. So there's even history there that you can get into, but I think that him dropping hints of I want to fight a grizzled old veteran, I want to fight somebody who's going to rough me up a bit. I think that's more of a reference towards Randy Orton than anything. And Drew
I like that
McIntyre is
as
more of
well.
like a red herring.
Yeah, I got you. I mean,
But if we are ready to move into
let's get into
SmackDown,
it. Yes.
we got kind of an announcement earlier in the day from Paul Triple H Levesque that the winners of the King and the Queen tournament will get a world title match of their respective brand at SummerSlam. Like confirmed, guaranteed, not exactly like a Royal Rumble, but kind of like it. So we
Right.
started SmackDown off with the Queen of the Ring semifinals match on the SmackDown side, Bianca Belair versus Nia Jax. And I was freaking pumped about this one, especially because I got cheated out of Jade versus Nia last week, and that was bullshit.
That was bullshit.
That was some bullshit. But these two, bro, these two started off with pretty fun working together with Nia just tossing Bianca around like a child. Usually Bianca's the stronger one in the match, but this time she's fighting Nia Jax, who's equal power, and just tossing her around like a child completely. But Bianca tried fighting back. She got out of the way of like a Nia Jax spear, so she ran right into the ring post, which she tried fighting back with that. But we've seen throughout this tournament that Bianca's been selling her knee injury a whole lot, which Nia
Yeah.
leapt on. Like she smelled blood in the water with that thing. She got her in this really cool like stretch submission move on it. And every time Bianca tried fighting back, she would like jump off the top rope. She would try to do a power bomb or something. Her knee was always giving her trouble no matter what she did. But
Right.
she countered one of Nia's like attempted annihilator. She climbed to the top rope to try to squash Bianca, and she ended up picking her off the ropes into a KOD like position.
Damn.
She was gonna hit the KOD, but of course she's got one good leg, and she just completely crippled and fell down. Nia Jax just gets up and she's like essentially just shrug emojis at the camera, like, oh well. She just sentons and flattens Bianca with that before dragging her in the corner for an annihilator for the win. Nia Jax goes on to Queen of the Ring, and she ended up winning the crown Queen Nia, bitches.
We did see Lyra in the stands that night on Smackdown. Kind of, kind of seeing what she can
Oh
do.
yeah, she saw her. We saw her scouting it out. We even saw Nia Jax grab like a little crown thing from I think Bianca's hair and like
Yeah.
place it on her head like it was a crown.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, it was awesome. She even got interviewed by Kayla Braxton afterwards in the match where she just shit on everybody. She said, "Man, fuck y'all. I'm gonna be the queen." But we saw next up, we move on to an announcement for the A-Town Down Under hosting the Grayson Waller show with their special guest, L.A. Knight. Yeah. Yeah. But before that happened, we saw Byron Saxton interviewing Bianca Belair backstage. She was on like a little medical table, and he asked her essentially like, "How's your knee doing? Like, how do you feel about this loss and all that?" And before she could even like answer, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell walk in and start bullying her. Essentially, they started taking credit basically for Bianca Belair's knee injury and taking credit for Bianca Belair losing in the Queen of the Ring tournament, which is when Bianca kind of stood up and it looked like they were all going to start brawling when who walks in but Jade motherfucking Cargill, y'all. And of course, Indy and Candace back off from the storm herself, and she just goes, "I'm going to go talk to Aldis about this," which we know now got turned into a women's tag team title match.
Mm-hmm. Which I thought was actually
yeah.
going to happen with Shayna and Zoe, to be honest.
It should have because they won a #1 contendership match.
That's what
But
I'm saying.
I love the idea that as soon as Jade walks in, like everyone just wants to back the fuck off. Like no one wants to mess with the storm, y'all. Nobody wants that smoke. But we do now move. We do now move into the Grayson Waller effect with who was supposed to be hosting LA Knight, but as they're out there, they start talking and shit. They start hyping him up. They start hyping somebody up at least, which who comes out but himself, the man that don't miss, Carmelo Hayes.
Ella don't miss.
Melo don't miss. He comes out and he thinks they're talking about him and he starts basically listing off his accolades and shit like that. And when he gets into the ring, Theory, those two have beef from the past in NXT and stuff like that. So it was a little confrontational with Theory at first before Melo was all like, "Man, we're the young guys. We got to stick together. We got to take out these old, ungrateful veterans that are over here taking all of our spots and stuff." He basically called all of them like egomaniacs and shit like that. He targeted fucking everybody, but especially LA Knight, who was supposed to be coming out. Basically called him an old, washed up man, but he ain't going to be taking that sitting down. So LA Knight's music hits, and out comes the megastar himself and just starts throwing shit around because he's pissed off, and you don't fuck with LA Knight. Yeah.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Yeah. He just starts running these fools down on the mic, and it was fucking classic LA Knight. We fucking love this man, but eventually it all
Of
breaks
course.
into a brawl, but it's a 3v1, so LA Knight kind of gets his ass handed to him until the Street Profits come out to assist LA Knight, which I forgot to mention a little bit, but Mello was also really trashing Bobby Lashley in his promo before LA Knight came out. So I think that's definitely still a feud that WWE is going to be pulling the trigger on, is Mello versus Bobby.
Right.
But this
I got
did
you.
lead us in. Oh, go ahead.
No, so do we see some at like SummerSlam or something with Melo, LA Knight, and Logan Paul, where they're all fighting for the United States Championship because you got the Internet Star, the Mega Star, and the man that don't miss, him.
Hell yeah, bro!
Basically,
I would
like
love to see something like that.
basically all three of them claiming themselves as huge stars.
Mm-hmm.
And then LA Knight walks out with the win, and then we see Logan Paul go off and do something else. With like maybe Case Tart kind of goes back and targets Cody Rhodes again for the title. And we see Melo
Like
and LA
actually
Knight kind of fight
unify
over the
them.
United States feud. Yeah. Something
I
like
would
that.
love to see some shit like that, maybe. But then after this whole segment, we got a Blair Davenport promo where she's basically like, man, y'all suck. I rule. And basically, Blair Davenport is on her way to SmackDown, which I don't know a whole lot about Blair Davenport, so I don't got a whole lot for that. But I hear she's really good and she's going to be a big star. So I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
But this moves us into a 6-man tag team match that Nick Aldis himself made official. LA Knight and the Street Profits versus Carmelo Hayes and A Town Down Onda. This is pretty freaking awesome, dude. It started off with Montez and Mello, which honestly, I'll take that match any damn day of the week. Because those two, like, they work together for like 30 seconds with Montez getting the upper hand because he's obviously the more experienced man over Mello, but there's some chemistry there. I could see that. I could see that going crazy. But Theory eventually gets tagged in. LA Knight gets tagged in, but LA Knight's a big motherfucker, so he's just overpowering fools. He's throwing the kicks, hitting elbows. When Waller scores in a blind tag and comes into LA Knight, and they double team him. Then throughout the match, really the heels were kind of just dominating this motherfucker. Dawkins eventually got the tag in from LA Knight, and he just got slammed into the corner and just got fucking wailed on. Oh, sorry, my fucking back. But
you're good. So Mello did look scared of LA Knight as soon as LA Knight was tagged in. So I mean,
dude,
like I was mentioning earlier, do we see a Mello and LA Knight future feud?
Oh, I think it's 1000% gonna happen. But we had some. Yeah, I think that's 1,000,000%. Like probably the next single feud that's going to happen on SmackDown between these guys.
Right.
I also think that because of this match, we're going to see the Street Profits go after the tag titles.
I like that.
Oh yeah, dude. This
Like
match
that a
was pretty
lot.
fun though. We saw spots like fucking Theory and Waller taking out the Street Profits or whatever and standing on the apron and like mock tagging in Dawkins or whatever, some shit like that.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun. I liked it a whole lot.
I would love to
Not
see the
too
Street Profits as
much,
champs.
obviously. Waller attempted a rolling stunner for the finish on it, but LA Knight hits the BFT. Montez hit a giant frog splash to end the match. But I think this was something more to set up, like what I mentioned, Mello versus Knight, and then Profits for the going after the tag titles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, some shit crazy like that. But backstage we see Bailey. Was it? No, that's the wrong one. God damn, we gotta fucking.
No, we would actually see Logan Paul and Michael Cole and Cody Rhodes in the kickoff show in Saudi. And Logan Paul would actually give the brass knucks to Michael Cole himself. And then we'd actually see some tomfoolery later on in the night with Logan Paul. But that we saw Cody and Orton actually backstage and they shake hands. And Orton kind of keeps his eye on the title as he walks away from Cody, or Cody walks away. One of the two, I forget. And I think Orton's not keeping his eyes on that title. As long as Cody has it, he's eventually going to target Cody at some point and kind of leave Kevin Owens alone.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Or could we see that match happen at Money in the Bank, and then we see a bigger match between those two happen later down the road, like a WrestleMania or something?
I think that's more of a WrestleMania match for sure.
Oh yeah. But speaking of
yeah,
Mr.
then
Cody
we see
Rhodes,
in the ring yeah. We saw Logan Paul come out into the ring, and he's the American Nightmare Show. Was that what it was? Was that what it was called?
Or something like that, yeah. It was some dumb shit like that.
Well, Cody was out there basically like, what do y'all want to talk about? When Logan Paul walks out, there's a lot of shit here, and talks his history in Saudi, and says he's walking out tomorrow night when he's talking on Friday with both championships, and Cody might have the edge in experience, but Logan is smarter, and brings up the fact that he gave Michael Cole the brass knuckles, but Cody Rhodes is like, man, I'm too smart for that shit. I know you got a pair on you right now. So they do a whole search thing with like a senior official and all that. Logan Paul's like, man, if I'm getting searched, you're getting searched. So ref searches them both and finds out Logan Paul got a second pair of them motherfuckers on him. Like, man,
I found out
you a
they
pussy.
were actually Jake's pants.
They're in his pants.
That's nuts.
But yeah, then Cody Rhodes basically, he says, Logan, you're scared of me, and that's why you need those. But he goes, I don't think of you as a YouTuber. I believe you're a pro wrestler, a WWE superstar, and he might be a part timer, but if he ever does be a full timer, then he might be on Cody's level.
Yeah.
But yeah, calls Logan a kid, and then we move backstage to Randy Orton, who's talking about the King of the Ring semifinals. And yeah, it basically says, unfortunately, he's Randy Orton, and he's going to make and he's made a history of being unhinged and predictable. And Tama Tonga is no different. He's going to fall victim to RKO like the rest of them.
Dude, yeah. Fucking Randy Orton. Dog.
Yeah, he's got that dog in him. Then we see Bayley and Nia Jax cross paths backstage as Bayley is on her way to her match with Chelsea Green, and Nia Jax basically just says, you need to keep that thing clean for me until SummerSlam.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Like, let's go, Nia. I'm all for Nia becoming a world champion. I cannot lie.
I am as well. I think Nia is going to be more of a significant champion later on than she wasn't earlier in her career, because she was still kind of green earlier in her career, but now that she's kind of better, she's can actually hold that title. But I think I think we might see something with Nia in the bloodline, because again, she is loosely related to them. And later on down in the future, like Nia joins the Rock side because he's the final boss and she's the queen of wrestling. Because she won Queen of the Ring, or something like that. But I mean,
That could potentially happen.
Yeah, but I don't know.
It's not something I would personally want to see happen. I don't want to see all sorts of stuff just get merged into the bloodline thing. I would like a lot of things. I would like some stuff to remain separate and on its own.
Right.
Like, I'd love Nia Jax to just go on a Queen run and just be known as Queen Nia.
Agreed.
But this does move us into Bayley versus Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green.
This was essentially a squash match for Bayley. Chelsea Green was able to get some offense in there. She was even hitting a Rough Rider at one point towards the end of the match, but after hitting one Rough Rider, which was pretty fucking awesome, calling out Matt Cardona there, and tried to go for another Rough Rider that Bayley was able to counter and hits a Rose Plant for the win. Like I said, this match was basically nothing. It was to basically just hype up Bayley, but after the match, Piper Niven absolutely wrecked Bayley. She completely smashed her with 15 fucking sentons or whatever and just left the champ lying. So I think this is definitely going to set up Piper Niven versus Bayley for Clash at the Castle, because Piper Niven's from Scotland.
Oh, she is? I thought she was Irish.
Yeah. No, she's Scottish.
Interesting.
Hell yes, but then this moves us into the backstage segments. The Street Profits and B-Fab backstage, and they are confronted by DIY, basically saying that, hey, we're coming for the title. And I like the whole, what am I thinking of, relationship here between Gargano was kind of more friendly and open towards the Street Profits. Like, hey, guys, we're here. It's a friendly competition, but it's still a competition that we're going to win. And Ciampa poured out Montez Ford's drink and was like, no, we're here to take over and we're here to win. I really like the idea of a heel and a baby face being a tag team together and still acting like a heel and a baby face separately.
Yeah. I think Johnny Gargano, it's potentially turn heel as well. I would love to see a heel DIY.
Oh, yeah. Go full heel with them. I'd love that too.
Yeah.
But then this moves us backstage to an AJ Styles meeting with Nick Aldis, which honestly, I liked the segment, it kind of tugged at my heartstrings because I'm an AJ Styles guy and I always have been, where he's basically talking like, Nick, I need one more chance at the world title. You don't understand. I have to have this shot. Like, just whoever wins, Logan Paul or Cody Rhodes, give me one more shot at that belt. And he's like, AJ, I can't give you that. You have to earn that. Which the line that really got me in this promo when I said like it tugged at my heartstrings was AJ going, man, I don't have time to earn it. Like, I'm running out of time. And it's like, man,
Yeah,
he is.
he's getting old.
We're like, damn, I don't want to say bye to AJ Styles, but like, I want to see him be pushed to the top while we still got him, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But I would not be against AJ Styles having another feud with, or not, maybe not another feud, but having another match with Cody Rhodes.
Right. I would
Because the
love
first
that.
one was
They had a
already fucking
phenomenal
awesome.
match. Backlash, yes.
Hell yeah. But we
Phenomenal.
also got an Andrade El Idolo promo afterwards. And I have a little bit, speaking of Cody Rhodes, honestly, I have a little bit of a like question for you is, what are your thoughts on Andrade El Idolo versus Cody Rhodes for the title? Like, I know that's pretty random, but I think that, like, one, it would push Andrade immediately to the top and get everybody to understand that, like, okay, this luchador is, like, not just like every other luchador that gets shoved into the mid-card title scene, but, like, he's a main eventer. And then it also, but then, like, Cody wants, like, somebody who's going to rough him up and give him, like, the match of, like, that's going to cement his title reign. That could be an Andrade feud, I think. Because they had a feud in AEW that was freaking awesome. They put each other through a flaming fucking table.
I would not be opposed to that.
Yeah.
So
I think
actually,
that
that'd be another amazing match I'd like to see. Yeah, let's see Andrade versus Cody Rhodes in WWE
like
for the
I said,
title.
it's pretty random because of where they're at on their spots on the roster right now, especially because after this promo, we got a little bit of a segment with Legado del Fantasma that were like, hey, man, we kind of need to take that guy out. Like, he kind of sucks. But Santos was like, well, maybe we could team up with him. I would really like to see Andrade just go on a singles tear and really get put into the main event scene, and everybody finally get to see, like, Andrade's a main eventer and he should be presented as one. I'm also kind of biased towards Andrade, though.
Yeah.
He's my fucking boy.
Of course.
Oh yeah. It's like I said, random as fuck, but something I would love to see. But this moves us into the Bloodlines locker room, or was it? I don't know if it was locker room, but it was backstage with the Bloodline, and they're basically all talking, hyping up Tama for his match with Randy, where Paul Heyman drops the bomb that, like, hey, I couldn't get Tonga Loa into this country because of the crimes that and shit that he's done, and I was barely able to get Tama in here. He goes, these are very dangerous people you are bringing into the Bloodline. He's talking to Solo when he says this. These are very dangerous people you are bringing into the Bloodline, and there are reasons we didn't bring them here in the past. Says that to Solo, and Solo just looks at him and he goes, man, till Roman comes back, I'm the man that's in charge. Which, whoa, Solo, I think you're getting a bit big for your britches there, buddy.
Yeah, he's kind of trying to get in this, like, tribal chief position because he is a tribal heir. So he's kind of just taking this position as what he wants it to be until Roman actually does come back. And I think we do see Roman return at some point, hopefully SummerSlam, and absolutely just fucking spear the shit out of Solo. And basically, we have now the good guys versus the bad guys.
Spear of all spears.
Agreed.
Oh my gosh, I freaking love it.
Much. But
this does move us into our main event match. King of the Ring semifinals, Tama Tonga versus Randy Orton. This was, we all love Randy Orton, but we all knew Randy Orton was walking out with this win. But especially with Gunther winning on Raw, I don't think there was any shot that they would. Although I mentioned it on one episode, that I think we're sleeping on the idea that Tama versus Gunther would be a really good match. It just doesn't make sense to do that match.
Right.
But Randy obviously walking out with the win here. But this match was pretty fun. Tama obviously acts like a goblin or a little rabid dog the entire time, starts throwing Randy around and headbutting him a shit ton until Randy gets pissed off. And I like this whole spot where Randy just big brothers people, because you don't realize how much bigger Randy Orton is than most people until he's like grabbing someone and throwing them into the fucking corner and beating them down.
Oh yeah,
Like Ray's a big freaking dude.
he's a big motherfucker.
Oh yeah, but he was basically big brothering Tama, as I would call it, until Tama eventually shoves him into the ring steps and injures his knee again. Again, he's been selling it the entire tournament, and we saw it be part of his downfall to Gunther. Sorry, what the fuck was that? Gunther at King of the Ring.
Yeah. We did see Gunther sitting front row. Like, dude, he like Bianca, he's been selling his knee the entire tournament, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And
But through
Orton would actually get attacked by the Bloodline, but Kevin Owens would come in and save him. So I mean, I don't as much as I want to see Orton and Owens go at it or something like that, I do want to see Orton can kind of go on his own path and kind of go against Cody instead. Instead, kind of just drops this whole Bloodline thing at some point. Because we need new people against the Bloodline. Honestly, we need new people. We have new people now. Let's put new people against the Bloodline. But
yeah, obviously we all know ended with an RKO like always. So
RKO.
Hell yeah.
Everywhere. Oh my god! By God! RKO.
Yep.
So does that move us
I
into
don't got
Uncle
too
Howdy?
much more to this stuff. Yeah. It's good.
So on Raw for Uncle Howdy, we saw announcing, like I said, I mentioned in the code again. The URL was a anagram for spectrogram, which you had to use. There's a questionnaire. There's 3 different outcomes. If you hit all yes, you see a Wendy Lucho anagram, which is Uncle Howdy. You see the source code rapper, which I believe was from the Twitch reference, which was we saw on the last Monday Night Raw, which I believe was that. No, yeah, last Monday Night Raw was the therapy session Twitch that happened on that Thursday. But then we saw a bunch of Pluto symbols, and you get coordinates of 39.7100 north, 75.1192 west, which would be Rowan University. And actually, here recently, Eric Rowan has been spotted at the Performance Center. So I think we're eventually going to start seeing these guys come back very soon, very quick. And then it's going to be something crazy. Like I said, we might be seeing something June 17th. Go from there. But there's also a WhatsApp button for 522, which I ended up missing. But there was liar written 3 times. There was 2 in black and 1 in red. And there's Pluto symbol on the paper for the WhatsApp. I did eventually get to see it. But we saw a fill in the blank riddle as well. And it was an autonomy. And it said the ability. An autonomy is the ability of the person to make his or her own decisions. But the fill in the blank riddle was a puppet is free as long as he loves his strings. Kind of hinting at the puppets from the Firefly Funhouse. But then we would see 3 audio files. North Star would actually be the Y6 symbol in the spectrogram. ICU2 would be hello in the spectrogram. And witness would be a spectrogram of Uncle Howdy. And then we had 4 photo files where I say last, IC, testimony, and reborn. There was a bunch. There's a bunch on there. But I think more importantly, it was the names of the photo files that kind of give us more clues to how soon he's coming. But if you went no all the way, you got a jump scare from the Veiled Bride, and it'll take you back to the beginning. But then if you hit no to all except do you want to be free, there's an image of a mysterious camera, and it gets really close to the camera, and there's only just something gets really close to the camera, and there's like only an eye. That's it. And we think there could be an eye of one of the people that are in the new Wyatt 6. Where am I?
Oh yeah, 100%.
But there was another article that had some negative results with the Play-Doh puppets. But more importantly, I think WWE released Cavebird shirts, which is actually the Nightbird merch that they have. But I think they can't do Nightbird or something. because it's copyrighted. But WWE would release those on Monday, and then, like I said, the lights went out in the Fatal 4-Way. But then we seen another person in the crowd, which is weird. Um, Then, like I said, on WhatsApp, we would get another WhatsApp message. It'd be say, "Remember who you are." It'd be another anagram said 8 p.m. EST. I can't wait to meet you. It'd be S Day. Like all these are pictures. S Day, TCH, and then third like THUR, and then TWI, which it'd be Thursday Twitch. It would say 8 p.m. EST Thursday Twitch is what it would be. Then moving into the Twitch stream, end of the stream, more importantly, would have a mouth smiling, but it was a split teeth. But everybody thought it was Joe Gacy, but people are actually thinking it's Bo Dallas, and it's kind of like split personalities, kind of like Bray did with the Fiend and his Firefly Funhouse character. We would see the Veiled Nun shown again, and a lot of people think that this is Alexa Bliss because there's kind of a clear shot of her face, but you can't ever, when you don't know.
Right.
But there were some notes, and it said, and these are kind of just some references to who's in it. And it says, "It is never easy to feel lost. You have too much already." And this is all underlined right here. "You deserve to be set free." And then now the underline stop says, "I know you're angry. That is okay. Let me show you what that anger can do." And then kind of talking to who we think is Eric Rowan or Joe Gacy. "When you're ready to take off the blindfold, come find me. You can always wear your masks." Which I think is more of a nod to Eric Rowan with the white sheep mask.
Mm-hmm.
And then this next one kind of is talking about Nikki Cross. "I'm so sad seeing you look for a friend but finding none. How sad for them. To miss out on someone as special as you. I have watched you stare into the abyss hoping someone would look back. I want you to know I see you. You are seen. You are loved." And then underlined is come home, your new family awaits." And Nikki Cross is kind of looking around for friends in the new, or like in her trans and everything. So, because it's kind of be like a new family for her after she lost her other
Oh
family.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I could definitely see them spinning that kind of a story.
this one is kind of hinting towards Dexter Loomis in a way because it says you had a family, you had friends, you did your best. They revealed themselves to be, and this is underscored, liars in all caps. Um, it was kind of circled like crazy with red and black pens, and then it was ripped up and wrote a new note. The new note said, "Your family betrayed you. You deserve better. You are accepted just as you are. Come to me, and I will make you brand new. I will." And then another one said, "I will set you free. We can be a real family. We can be a real family." And this is kind of a nod at Dexter Loomis because on NXT he had an on-screen wife and Indy Hartwell, and he was a part of a group called The Way, which were his friends and family. With it, because Indy Hartwell was also in The Way with Johnny Organo, Candice LeRae, and I forget who else. I have it for SmackDown. I remember it for SmackDown. But another one said, "Asking for help, asking for love, asking for someone, anyone to notice you, they all, dot, 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 nothing. I will give you a family. Let's teach them consequences." And then there's a smiley face right next to it. It was kind of written fast, and as you could compare that to kind of Bray Wyatt a lot in NXT, kind of trying to recruit people and stuff like that. But more importantly, this kind of resembles Joe Gacy in a way.
Hmm.
Then the "Remember Who You Are" notes have actually been in an envelope, and all the notes were written inside. Again, we see the 6 blank 24, which is now we're thinking 617 from the Rhaenyra's code. And it said, "I will see all you soon." And we're thinking Alexa is somehow related to this. I forget exactly. It's a lot, but we're getting into more of it. There were some coordinates that led to Abilene, Texas, Exonia, Wisconsin, Ramblin, New Jersey, Scarborough, Ontario, Canada, Erlangen, Kentucky, Navasink, New Jersey, Rathdrum, Idaho, and Irwindale, California. Um, Abilene, Ramblin, Ramblewood, Scarborough are all kind of significant. Abilene is kind of what about Abby the Witch?
Hmm.
Ramblewood, kind of talking about Ramblin' Rabbit, maybe. And Scarborough is kind of a hint at Kyle Scarborough, who worked with WWE and Bray on the Fiend character itself. But it turns out that was actually an anagram for Rhaenyra, like our King of the Ring URL. Like we're gonna go back over it. The patron of Saint Pisa and the patron of Saint Travelers. The feast day is his feast day is June 17th. And like I'm saying, is something happening special, something special happening on that Monday Night Raw, because that's Monday Night Raw after Clash at the Castle.
I think so.
But there was some random puppet at the start of the stream. And like I kind of asked earlier, the puppet's kind of a part of it. Like, Rambling Rabbit, Mercy the Buzzard, Abby the Witch, Huskus the Pig. But more importantly, we kind of seen the person writing with the left hand, and people are kind of relating that to Bo Dallas because he's left-handed. And there were some pictures as well, and it was "Remember Who You Are" on that porch, and then the person driving, and then like the driving picture that we seen a few weeks ago was a person dropping the letters off, maybe. But more importantly, like there was a mirror in the stream, so we could kind of see what he was doing, but we could only see his hands, so we couldn't see much. But moving to Smackdown, this is where this one was just absolutely loaded with shit. The URL was archive recovered. If you looked at the top of the page, it said restore from backup pound CNMN167 on 24/05/23 by unauthorized. This could be referring to Conman 167, the go-to place for like WWE streams. But he said something that WWE paid attention to because he was streaming the Twitch stream, and the thing that had to do with WhatsApp. Then the sound button actually updated today. It played some weird sounds. I don't really know how to put those together with it. But Kintsugi was the title of the page again. We saw Kintsugi was like the Japanese form of fixing something. I don't remember that. But it said an open door is a welcome that makes a stranger into a friend. Right below it. And then the kind of like the title of it was for like all the like links we had to click. Right below that was, can you keep a secret? And my question is, are we in this mind of Uncle Howdy when we go through these? And I want you to kind of keep that in the back of your mind when we go through these. So the first one was a bunch of these are a bunch of Pluto symbols and stuff like that. These first like three are all have Pluto symbols next to them. The first one says, "Why didn't I trust him?" And you click that and you would read, "When I was a kid, I would see him in my dreams. Sometimes I wouldn't know if I was awake or still dreaming. Sometimes I still don't. He didn't try to harm me, but I was afraid. I didn't trust him. Why was he always there? I convinced myself he lived in that house, but everywhere I went, he followed me. Grown up said it was my imagination, the loneliness of not being believed. I never felt so alone. I don't ever want anyone to feel like that again." The next one said, "Learning. I thought when I got older, he would go away. I did my best to ignore him, but he was always there, whispering in my ear. I decided to chase him in my dreams, but the more I looked, the deeper he hid. Whenever I try to imagine his face, the only thing I can see is my own. Why does he torment me? I didn't understand." I do want to point out before I go any farther, these are written chronologically from 2008 to 2024, and that is when Bo Dallas signed with WWE and was assigned to FCW.
Interesting.
But overlap, I started keeping my dream journal. I would go to sleep in my bed, then wake up sitting at my desk with my journal in my hands. He showed me the truth even when my eyes were closed. Then there was like a spinning star saying, "I found my journal. I took the pictures of the entries. He told me to remember who you are." And I think these are all the pictures. The first page said, "I saw him, and the more I tried to chase him, the more he told me he didn't exist." Page 2, "I'm going to find you, and you will tell me your secrets." Page 3, "When I saw him, time and energy stop, but I will never really," and I couldn't really tell what it said, but then the last word said him. The fourth page, "I was thankful he let me see him because he is before time or any of us." Page 5, "That's where he lives and you'll never see him or get to him." And it's like arrow pointing, it's like a circle, kind of like a black hole maybe. Um then page 6, "He saw the parts of me that I tried to hide, and he said that's okay because he had them too." Page 7, He lives there, and you can't find him unless he wants to hide. Wants you to find him. Again, pointing to the circle with like an arrow. He is in the shadow, and he's always been there. I don't know if any of this is making sense, but sometimes. Page 9, I think he's writing this, and it's just a drawing of a smiley face, big drawing. And the last page, now I wonder, is me, or if that's what he thinks, if that's what he wants me to think. And then now we get more Pluto symbols. These are more talking about Bray Wyatt. To be free, I am nobody. I am all of us. I accepted, but kept him hidden for a long time. Wearing a mask of your own face brings you sorrow. But if they saw, they wouldn't understand. Evil triumphs when good men do nothing. I hope I am a good man. Next one is purpose. Sometimes you have to hurt people to heal people. Sometimes that person is yourself. Now I understand. Now I see. Is this kind of like I kind of see that as a hurt heal reference to the Fiend? Oh,
That's
Bray
what it
Wyatt.
sounds like to me. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it sounds like to me.
The next one is the truth, or is truth. The chosen one, born to set them free. There was no monster. It was always me. And then the next one is the prodigal son. I know it's you on your way back home. The hair should light your path. I will be waiting on the other side. And like the hair, kind of think about like the white rabbit again, talking about Bray Wyatt. Um, but then there was unveiled, and then it said, "Do not lie to me. Do not lie to yourself. We've worn our masks long enough, brother. Revel in what you are." Is this a like kind of like a thought to Bray, to Bo Dallas, for trying to recruit him as Uncle Howdy? Honestly, or I could see this more as an Eric Rowan reference as well, because he's worn the masks before with Bray Wyatt and the Bludgeon Brothers.
Right.
So the
I
next
think more of
one,
like Bray to
yeah,
Bo
go ahead.
because of the whole brother talk. Sorry.
Yes. No, you go ahead. You're good. But the next one will be she, and whenever I say she and her for this, they're all capitalized. So it'd be when she speaks, mountains should tremble. It's waiting for her. I can only open the door. She must walk through the door. Is this kind of Alexa Bliss reference because she was she was basically the female equivalent to the Fiend herself.
Yeah. I think that's hyping up Alexa to be like the female kind of leader of this whole thing. Like I said, like I kind of mentioned earlier, where like maybe to all of them she is Sister Abigail. Like she is the like the big one when it comes to all of them, I guess, if you want to say that.
Yeah. So the next one we had was Owari, Owari, and it's Japanese for the end. And it said there is sacredness in tears. They are not the mark of weakness, but of power. They speak more eloquently than 10,000 tongues. A choir of tears sings of you forever. And is this kind of like talking about the loss of Bray in a sense? Because the next one, I kind of think this one ties in the second one, because the next one said purpose again. It said, I found solace in the words of Red. I looked closer, the prophecy became clear. I am the catalyst, the healer, the shepherd. I will set them free. I will give them life. And I think this is Bo Dallas kind of saying, like, hey, you can come to me because I was his brother and I can help you through his death. But is it also kind of like his goals for the new Wyatt Six and what he's wanting to do in the WWE himself?
That's exactly what I think it is, because like it would make sense for something to be like, especially with it being named Purpose like that.
Yeah.
Him saying that he is the shepherd and he will set them free and I will give them life. Like it makes it sound like he's the one rounding up the flock that is scattered now that Bray Wyatt is gone, and he's kind of bringing them all back together and is gonna set it all right.
Yeah. And so to go back on your thought about last episode about the names that he call them, these would actually be the names. So Hex kind of references Nikki Cross, and it says this one searched for a friend. She found none, so she stared into the abyss, hoping someone would glance back, and still no one cared. I will lead her out of darkness, but let her keep the darkness inside. And so I kind of note about this, none of the she's or hers are capitalized at all. So
Mm-hmm.
it kind of like helps kind of like push the Nikki Cross idea, but staring into the abyss kind of translates to like the transes that she's been in when she was seen walking around backstage or walking around the ring area, or even in the Royal Rumble where she just stand there, looked at the hard camera, and got thrown over the ropes, and then just stood at the hard camera again.
Right. I think that's exactly it.
So then the next one is Truncheon. This one brings me joy. He already knows the way. We will behold his wrath, drown in his inflictions. And I remember how I said the Hold the Way earlier. Dexter Loomis was a part of Dexter Loomis was a part of The Way with Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, Austin Theory, and Indy Hartwell and himself.
Right.
Kind of hinting at that. Then the next one is Prey. This one is loyal. His family was not. The vultures picked at him until he was made anew. I see what he can become. I see. This is kind of like Eric Rowan. This one I don't really know. I feel like it's Eric Rowan, but I mean, I think kind of like how they mean by this one is loyal. That Eric Rowan, I don't think Eric Rowan went to AEW, did he?
He did.
He did. Okay, then never mind.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like reading ahead a little bit and seeing that I would kind of put Eric Rowan with the next one that you're about to talk about.
Right.
That was just me personally, though, just based on what I'm reading.
Yeah. So the next one is Spark. And it says this one was abandoned, left for dead. Begged for approval, was beaten instead. I will show you how to be free. You're safe now. And this one kind of is more like a Joe Gacy because he was abandoned as like an NXT, like part of his NXT character. He was abandoned as a detail for him. Then we got the GIF, whatever you want to call it, anew, and it was family. And it said, "We are whole. We have become complete. We can't wait to show you how beautiful we have become." Like, are we? They finally together? Like, are we? Do we see them
I think
now?
this is them. I think this is them officially saying that they are now the family. The family,
The
not the
family.
NXT ones.
But next one we saw empathy. It says, "Where's your empathy? All they want is a chance. You reject them without merit. You pray for their demise. What sadness do you mask? What worm consumed your heart? I hope you find solace. I hope you find peace." That's kind of like a hint at the fans because they're all like, "When is he coming? Like, come on now! Like, we're getting tired of this." Like, they're kind of just shitting on this whole thing now because people think it's taking too
Yeah,
long. Like, you gotta let this thing cook. You gotta let it sizzle out. You gotta let it do its thing, almost. Um,
yeah, I kind of like that kind of interpretation for that.
Next one we would see is establishment. It seems every week there is another. I wish to vanquish them, but I must give them time to repent. I wish I was already there with all of you, but I can't be selfish. A lack of repentance carries a heavy price. Please give me just a little longer. You understand, right? Are there new rumors popping out about them? Like, what's can we see? But is there
Mm,
like a solid reason that we are actually waiting this long for this to happen?
I really have no clue.
But then we would see another Pluto symbol that said besides, and it'd be like they're talking about us now. We finally got their attention. Let us savor this, and we will show you signs and wonders. But then we would get a new one today. It'd be discipline. And it said, it is important to question in order to believe. I forgive you. And there was two links. It said image. There was images. It was Prov 131, and it read this was underlined, and then I was underlined, and then it goes, "Am the one who hears the words of the red. I see the vision. We move when I say, not you." And I kind of was thinking, does this kind of translate to Bible verses? Proverbs 131 says, "Therefore they shall eat the fruit of their own way and be filled to the full with their own devices," which is the King James version. The next one is the same thing, the King James. Proverbs 13:1, "A wise son heareth his father's instructions, but a scorner heareth not rebuke." Basically, kind of hinting at the fans again, basically telling them, like, dude, you need to be patient with this. Quit being so pushy. And then the next
Right.
one, there would be another image. It'd be Prov 155, and it would say, this picture would say, "Patience is the road to wisdom. Have you lost your trust in me? Are you calling me a liar?" Liar was written in red. And then this is all capitalized. "You're arrogant. You know nothing." And then Proverbs 15:5 would say, "A fool despiseth his father's instructions, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent." I don't know what that means, but I just wanted to add that in there. But then Proverbs 5 it says, "A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels." Basically, like saying, like, wisdom goes a long way, but just relax and enjoy the ride while we're here, because
Yeah, right.
this is all supposed to be one big thing, and the fans are kind of pushing it because they want it to be over with now.
Hmm. Like basically telling people like enjoy the build before the bang, you know?
Yes, kind of like WrestleMania, but WrestleMania was a hit and miss for me for some of it, but a lot of it was very, very good.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's all I have for Uncle Howdy. I think he's gonna. I think we'll see something huge on June 17th, the Monday Night Raw, after Clash at the Castle. We will get that uploaded that following Sunday. I'm excited to see what's going to go on with all of this and what we can do or what they're going to do with Uncle Howdy and who they're going to put storylines in and everything like that.
I am freaking pumped for it, dude. Like especially to find out like the question you and me I know have been wondering is like how the hell do you like present their first feud? Like who's it gonna be and like how do we go about this, you know?
Yes, it's so hard to kind of see how we can present this.
Yeah,
But I
but
mean, I don't think they have plenty of options. They could revisit old feuds and kind of play them into new feuds. Honestly, they could do whatever they want with it.
right, because these are all like new characters now, so
Hmm.
I think it's gonna be set to be something pretty freaking awesome.
Agreed.
But you got anything else to add?
No, I do not.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening
Thank
to the latest
you.
episode. Thank you for listening to the latest episode of the AR Wrestling Raw and SmackDown review show. We come at y'all every weekend with these. We also come at y'all with the preview shows for PLEs and our reactions to the PLEs. Don't forget to follow our socials on Twitter at AR Wrestling Pod and Instagram at AR_wrestling_. We will catch y'all on the next one.